To A1R Psychic Radio, here with Amanda Hall, psychic all the way from the Gold Coast here in Australia, and it's absolutely a fantastic autumn or fall day here on the Gold Coast. A little bit overcast, a little bit showery, but the temperature's still a very pleasant temperature. I mean, most people are reaching for a jumper. So far, I haven't really done that. It's just sort of cooling down just sort of slightly. So I hope wherever you are in this amazing globe of ours, you've had a pretty awesome sort of week. Look, I know people are getting a little bit frustrated and everybody's sort of getting a little bit sick of being restricted in some form or another around the world, but we really are all in this together, and it really is about not just looking after our own health and the health of our immediate family and our household, but everyone else as well. And I think that's the thing that we all need to get on top of, is the fact that we're not just looking after us, we're looking after everyone else. It's a sort of an I and you situation. And it's difficult sometimes because we all want to sort of break free and get out there as the weather's nice and you want to go for a walk on the beach or in the park or in the mountains, or just get out and get some fresh air and sort of feel like you can break those shackles. So it's interesting this week, the card I've drawn before the show from the Secrets of Tarot deck is the Eight of Swords. Now, I thought this was extremely apt to all the messages I've had in my inbox this week of everybody feeling frustrated. It's the card of frustration and feeling bound and gagged. Now, I feel the frustration is us all being locked away or not being able to get about our lives in the way that we want to do. And it's interesting when someone takes something from you or says, no, you can't do that, all of a sudden it becomes the number one focus in your mind, in your life, of wanting to be able to do that. So this feeling of feeling bound and gagged and not being able to speak up or break free of the restrictions is very, very apt at the moment. So for those of you that are interested during this lockdown period, wherever you are in the world, to learn tarot, I do have two Secrets of Tarot sets and also two Simply Tarot sets. If you just want to head to my website after the show, that'd be great. So we've got a lot to cover this week astrologically. And first and foremost, I want to talk about the new moon that's coming up in Gemini on Saturday, wherever you are around the world. So we're slowly going to start to feel the influences of the new moon from Thursday. So when I work with a new moon, I like to work with a 7-day cycle, 2 days on the approach, 3 days of the moon, and then 2 days on the departure. So why is this new moon so important? Well, the reasons why it's so important is it's new. It means a freshness. It's an opportunity for us to take a different perspective or look at something through a different lens. Now, the fact that it's in Gemini is asking us to put our thinking cap on to allow new ideas. Gemini is the sign of versatility. It is an air sign, so it's about ideas. It's about looking around in our local environment for answers or suggestions or ways to motivate ourselves. So it's really important because the new moon is asking us to think more locally, maybe shop more locally, put our focus on our spending in our local economy rather than purchasing something from overseas. I think it's a great time that, we can utilize this time, even if we don't physically go out, but start researching online about how to bring more localized products into our lives and stimulate our own economies in our own regions and then collectively in our own country or continent. That's really important. But it also joins two planets that are really sort of having an impact at the moment for us. And one is the planet Mercury. Mercury is actually conjunct or holding hands the planet of Venus, of love and affection. Now, I spoke about Venus last week going retrograde for the next couple of months, and it's a time when we're really sort of being asked to delve inside ourselves and look at what makes a smile on our face. What do we really love? What is really important to us? And it's going to be a little bit prickly around the edges, and there's going to be things there that you're going to find about yourself or people that are closest to you that you don't particularly like. But because it's in Gemini, it's asking us to maybe allow a lot of this chatter to come and go with these ideas. We don't need to take on board all of them. It's like a process of elimination, deciding what we're going to keep and what we're going to throw out in the trash or the garbage tin and what we're going to hang on to and maybe develop. Now, when you get this conjunct with the planet of communication, it's going to be a little bit tricky. There may be some difficult conversations there with people in our household, people that we're closest to, and not just because we've all been in confined quarters together. But you add the new moon to that, and then we add another dimension of emotion. So it's a time to sort of be a little bit flexible. Maybe make sure you've got your listening ears on. Don't just sort of half listen and go, yeah, 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 and you think you know what they're talking about and you're not, because you might find that you're agreeing to or saying something that you don't really mean. So it's really, really important over this next 7 days to make sure that our communication is crystal clear. Now, on a global level, and we've been talking about the pandemic for weeks now, I feel that we're going to see a lot of our leaders around the world come out and make some pretty profound sort of statements. I'm not necessarily going to say we're going to agree with them all or even understand their concept of the reasons why. In the last 24 hours and the little bits and pieces of news I've gathered around the world, it seems to be all our leaders are on this kick of running out there and outdoing each other to say, I am the strongest and I am the fittest and aren't I tough and aren't I wonderful. If they'd only apply that principle to running their own respective countries and all banding together to try and get some solutions to this pandemic, that might be a better use of energy. That's just my personal opinion. Of course, we still have Pluto, the planet of transformation, conjunct or leading the way now with Jupiter in Capricorn. So it's like Pluto is really going to sort of ramp up, transforming the globe, showing us what we need to do to heal. And there's going to be some tough lessons in all of this. And there's going to be people that are going to come out with some very wild and strange statements, and others are going to be thought-provoking. And some of them are going to go, oh, okay, hadn't thought of it that way. So there's something in there for everyone. So I think the most important thing is just to stay true to yourself. Don't sort of put anything into the too hard basket. Put it to one side if it's difficult. The other thing astrologically I'd like to quickly touch on, we have, when we look at an astrological chart, it's the 360-degree circumference of a circle. Now, when an astrologer says that we've got all the planets all bunched up into sort of half the chart, what does that mean? And we're actually experiencing that at the moment. It means, yes, we've got a concentration of energy. Yes, it does mean that tempers can overspill and people can be a little bit more full-on animated, in your face, sort of really jockeying for position. But on the flip side of that, and the more positive side of that, is it gives us the opportunity to explore things that are unknown or been hidden, or to just sort of delve into other areas that maybe we haven't had the opportunity or the time to do before. So it's really exciting and really interesting that we may just, over the next couple of weeks, get some amazing breakthroughs. I have a new rule in my house. If you watch an hour of news, you have an hour of music. I think everything has to be balanced. You can't just keep having doom and gloom and negativity and watching the death toll rise around the world and starting to feel a little bit helpless. Yes, we all need to be informed. Yes, I think we all need to have a very broad view of what's taking place, not just in our own backyard, but overseas as well. But then I balance that with an hour of music, of something uplifting, something that makes my heart sing, and even sometimes some frivolous sort of songs that just make you smile. So I feel that that's very important. So the candle of the week that I've chosen this week, and I know I seem to be choosing this one a lot lately, is My Angel in the Sky. Now, I have My Angel in the Sky burning at the back of the set here, and I will continue to do that for a little while now while we're going through the worst of this COVID-19. The reasons why I chose this candle again this week is I feel that we do need to honour those people that we have lost. Around the world, we've collectively lost an awful lot of people. And I think each and every one of those people is important. We need to honour them. We need to respect that their families are really, really struggling at this time to come to terms with their loss. It doesn't matter whether somebody was old and they were at the end of their life. It is still a loss. It's still a tragedy. And it still isn't what we consider to be natural. If they naturally died of a heart attack or died in their sleep, we accept that. But when somebody's taken out in this way with something that we can't control, it makes it much, much more difficult. Now, for our friends and our family in the US, this weekend is a very important weekend on your calendar. I know it's your, now I've completely forgotten. It's a very special weekend where you honour your veterans. Memorial Day, that's it. I I knew it was really important. And it's an important weekend where I think where families are going to get out and spend some time together. But we need to remember why these holidays particularly are so important. It's so we don't forget those that have gone before us and given us this freedom that we now know in the globe. So we need to honour those people as well that sacrificed their lives for us around the world. And it's not just the US. I know it's your holiday, but we can all join in, I think, collectively around the globe and remember those that have fallen. So I made up the gift box set again with the healing candle, my angel in the sky, and I also threw love in there because I think love is what makes the world go round. Pardon me. And I think we all need to acknowledge that. We all need to work with love in our lives. And if we do that, we will find that we can bring much more peace into our lives in a very, very positive way. So we're going to go on to our first caller, which is Ginger in Fayetteville in Tennessee. Are you there, Ginger?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have a question I can work with, sweetie?
Yes, ma'am. I just recently lost my brother about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks ago. And I just want to make sure that, because I just lost my dad a year and a half ago. So I just want to make sure that they're both together and, that they come and visit me and let me know that they're here.
Okay, Ginger. Look, it's always difficult to sort of connect through to the other side in such a short space of time. I can guarantee you, sweetheart, in all the years that I've been doing this work, I have never, ever had someone come through from the other side and say, I don't like it over here, it's horrible. Yes, they always are concerned about us that are left here on the planet. They want to make sure that we're happy, we're well adjusted, that we're coping with our grief and our loss. But their major objective is that they're no longer suffering in any way. If they had a physical ailment, if they had an emotional ailment or whatever it was before they left the planet, that's now gone. And that's the important thing that we need to remember. They are always with us. Each person on the other side has their own way of connecting with us. Some people like to do things to annoy you. And I mean that in a loving way. If you were a person that likes all your photos on the mantelpiece straight, and if one's crooked, that really annoys you, they'll come and do that because that's their way of getting your attention. It's their sense of humour from the other side to know that really annoys Ginger, so we'll do it all the more so she'll know we're there. They can also come through to you can be watching a movie, you can be watching something on the telly, and all of a sudden it'll take you back to a memory with them or it'll remind you of them. That's also their way of getting a message through to you. So you've just got to look for signs that make sense to you. I know for me, my late husband has a really unusual way of coming through. He knows that I used to particularly like his pipe tobacco. And it was something, even though I don't smoke anymore, it was always comforting to me. So I know when he's really around me, when he really wants to get my attention, I smell that pipe tobacco. And I always say to him, well, that's lovely, darling, that you put that smell through the house, but how about my lungs? None of us smoke anymore because it's not good for your health. So you've just got to look at things that mean something that is special to you. Look, I know your brother's at peace. I'm not saying he was ready to go. I don't think any of us are ever really ready to leave the planet. But he is at peace. He wants you to find some way of honouring him in a way that's going to bring a smile to your face. Now, that could be something really silly. It could be something that was a personal joke between the two of you that you're able to sort of look at and sort of say, every time I look at that picture or that cartoon or that flower or the dot on the wall, it reminds me of you when you burst out laughing.
Yeah, I do that now. Yeah.
But that's how he wants you to try and cope with your grief, of, try and find the funny side in life. To me, he must have been a person that liked to sort of laugh at things in the face of adversity. He didn't like to think he was controlled by life events. He liked to be the one in the driver's seat. Was that how he was? That's how he's coming across now, that sort of like, you don't think this has beaten me, do you? You don't think you got rid of me that quickly? I'm going to be still here to annoy you. You know, just because I'm not here
Yes, you're
physically
exactly right.
to take up space, I'm still going to be around. It's interesting though, because your dad isn't coming through in a way that I would have expected, like he's there, but it's like he's
Do what,
happy to
ma'am?
sort of background. Is that how he was in life? Was he happy to just sort of sit in the background and not speak up unless he really
Yes,
had something
ma'am.
he
He was
wanted?
exactly like that.
Because that's how he's coming across to me now. He's sort of, I'm here and yeah, I'm important, but I
Yes.
haven't got anything
Yeah.
to say. So, why bother wasting your breath? If I've got something to say, we'll talk about it.
Yeah, he was exactly like that.
Okay. Well, that's how he's coming through to me now. But they're both showing me that there's something going to happen in the warmer months for you. Are you clearing out the closets or something? Are you making changes with where you're living? Because they're saying to me, you can get rid of all that old rubbish.
Yes, we're looking to buy a house.
That you don't need
Yeah.
anymore. They want you to clear it out.
What, ma'am?
Did you have some old newspapers or magazines or something of your dad?
Yes, I do.
He's saying to me it's time you can let go of some of them too. Like, he's not saying get rid of them all. He's saying keep the ones that are most important to you, but other people can get some joy out of these. He wants them passed on. Even if that's to family members, it doesn't matter. He wants them passed on. He feels that they're rotting. They're not being loved. And he wants to see them loved.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they've gone now, but they were really fun to work with because your brother, he is just larger than life. It's sort of like, well, I've arrived. What are you waiting for? I'm here now.
Yeah, yeah. I understand. I understand completely what you're saying.
Good. Well, they're always around you, Ginger. So just, keep strong, keep going forward, and know that their physical body might be gone, but their spirit certainly isn't gone, and they're with you every single day, sweetheart. And they want you to look after yourself. They're telling me that you get a bit slack sometimes at looking after you.
Me and my brother have the same heart defect, and I'm waiting on some tests to come back. Could you tell me how that's going to turn out?
Medical issues by law we're not supposed to talk about, but what I can tell you is your brother's got a big smile on his face when you mentioned those tests. So I'm going to take that from his authority, not mine, that everything's going to be A-OK. They did tell me that you had to look after yourself a little bit more, that you got to put yourself first, but I don't see that as being a negative. I see that as being very much a positive, my love.
Okay.
Okay. You have a great night, Ginger. We're going to move on to Evelyn in Tupelo, Mississippi. Are you there, Evelyn?
Yes, I am. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you, sweetie. How can I help you tonight?
I just need some type of direction. I feel like I'm just existing. I don't know.
I can understand that, Evelyn. A lot of people are sort of feeling that way. And since we've been in lockdown, I think it's brought things like that to the surface, that we now question who we are, where we're going, what we want. But for me, the energy I'm picking up around you, this started sort of about September, October last year. You were starting to question who you were, where you were going, what's my purpose, why am I here? And it's just slowly sort of started to build more momentum. I mean, yes, it's probably become more urgent during the time that you've spent at home, but they're also sort of showing me that you've discovered parts of yourself that, not so much that you'd forgotten about, but they didn't seem as important. And it's like, now I want to bring those to the forefront. I sort of feel as if you've always been too much of a giver, Evelyn. You've given to everyone else, you've rescued everyone else, but you've forgotten to rescue Evelyn. Would that be a fair comment?
Yes, very, very.
Right, well, they're showing me now that we need to rescue Evelyn. Now, I don't mean that you're in dire straits or anything like that, but it's like put you to the front of the queue. It's what you need, what you require. and you are able now to say no to people. If it doesn't suit you, the answer's no. And the more you practice that word, the more you use it, the easier it's going to get. And you don't have to give them a reason. You've always sort of felt if you couldn't accommodate something that someone wanted, you had to give them an explanation for why, or you'd try and jiggle things around and make it happen for them. Even if you weren't well or you didn't have the time or the money or whatever, you just seem to put everybody else's needs first. So they're saying to you now, you're the one at the beginning of the queue, and at the 10th place in the queue and the 20th place in the queue, it's Evelyn, 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 Evelyn. And that's going to be hard because you've never done that before. So it's really going to take all your energy, all your effort. And the more you start to do that, the easier it'll become. And it's almost like then I get a newfound contentment. It's like, oh, I can exhale and I feel like I can breathe. I don't feel my chest is tight. And I don't mean you've had a tight chest as in being sick. I don't mean it in that way. It's just energy-wise, you've restricted yourself so much that there hasn't been an opportunity there for you to sort of just exhale and say, oh, how nice, I can breathe. And this is what's coming towards you. So in this last couple of months particularly, Evelyn, have you sort of felt as if you wanted to sort of maybe make a change of residence? Is that something that's been crossing your mind?
Well, that's what I'm trying to do, but with the pandemic, I mean, I had an interview in this location, but it got put on hold due to the fact of the pandemic. So,
okay. Look, I still feel that's going to go ahead. I don't feel we've lost that opportunity or missed it. It's just been postponed, is the way I would like to describe that. Look, I feel towards the end of the month of June, you will have some communication about this. I don't know that you'll be ready to move then, but certainly there will be communication and you will be able to start making some plans. You'll be able to start putting things in place ready to make that transition, to make that change. I'm sort of seeing probably early August is when you can actually physically make the change. And to me, by then, you're more than ready. Like you've had enough time to sort out what you want to take, what you want to give away, what you want to throw out, and you're more than ready in every way, not just on the physical, but emotionally, spiritually, every other way as well. It's a very, very good year for you, Evelyn, because they keep showing me this beautiful, oversized, giant pink heart. When I see that, it either symbolises new love coming into your life, or it can be an overabundance of love coming towards you from many, many areas. I wanted to take the latter with you because I feel with you standing up for yourself and starting to sort of honour who you are, more and more people around you are starting to honour who you are and showing you their gratitude and their love and their respect for you in ways that they've never done before. And that's a good thing. So you've got so much joy in your heart. And it's like it's bursting at the seams that it wants to come out, but it hasn't had an opportunity to do so recently, but it will. And I feel that the second half of this year obviously is going to be easier than what we've all been through in the first half. But for you on a very personal level, it's like a lot of pieces to a jigsaw puzzle are going to fit into place. I really feel very humbled having this opportunity to work with you, Evelyn, because I think you're such an amazing person. And you've given so much to everyone else. It's now time that it must come back to you. It's really, really important. So I hope that's helped you, sweetheart.
Yeah, it does. It very much. Because as far as, going through reading stuff, I've given up my apartment. I've given away whatever needs to be done. And I'm just in limbo as far as the job so I can finish moving. Because I have a place to stay when I do move. It's just the job. So
right.
Just wait on that opportunity to present itself to me, and I really appreciate your time. It's really
I feel that there will be a job there, Evelyn. I think just everything's sort of going to start to slowly come together in the month of June, and sort of by the time we get to August, it's like you're where you're meant to be in every way, job wise, move wise. Everything is sort of like it's like oh, good, I can exhale now and I can just breathe and get on with the next stage of my life, which is wonderful. So it's really been an honour to work with you, Evelyn, and please stay well and look after your family, sweetheart.
So that was same to you, and I really appreciate you so much.
You're very welcome, sweetheart. So we're sort of coming to the end of the show again, and I just really want to reiterate with everybody, please hold your family, your friends, the people that you love and that are so close and important in your life, and tell them each and every day how important they are, how much you love them. That's the most important thing I think we can all take out of this pandemic. The world needs to heal. We need to heal, and we all need to get back to basics of the things that are important to us. Understanding the value of family and what it is to sit around the kitchen table and have a meal together and have a few laughs and ask how your day's been and help each other through the times where we don't feel emotionally strong. And it has brought a lot of those things to the surface, where a lot of us that thought we were super strong and indestructible like a Mack truck have suddenly realised that we're human like everyone else. And, I've had my bad days too, along with everyone else. But the most important thing is, if we all join hands collectively around the globe before you go to sleep of a night and pray for those that we've lost and pray for the families that are doing it tough and know that we are all in this together and we will come out the other side a much, much better world. I truly believe that. Until next week, bye for now.